he has to run through the inner circle on a consistent basis. Jericho knocks the chair out of Spears' hands early, takes him down, and whips him into the barricade. And Jericho uh, celebrates with a camera in hand. Spears grabs a chair from under the ring, cuts Jericho off, springboard. He targets Jericho's injured left arm. Jericho comes back with an enziguri and goes to the top rope. Spears pops up and takes Jericho down on the mat. Spears continues to attack Jericho's arm. Jericho avoids a corner splash. Spears fought to reach the ropes, but Jericho uh, brings it back into the center of the ring. Blanchard distracts the official, and Spears frantically taps. Sammy Guevara runs out, and Tully Blanchard is running away, but Spears grabs the chair and whacks Jericho with it, and then he hits a C4. Jericho then knocks him out, and for the first time, C4 is kicked out of an AEW. Spears sends in the chair assisted C4. Jericho escapes and hits the Judas effect for the win. MJF immediately grabs the mic and says Jericho is not allowed to have anyone come out and help him with it, things anymore. Next week, Jericho will have a no disqualification match against Indy standout Nick Gage. Gage shows up and gets a major reaction. A brief Miro video plays. He is wearing a Bloodsport jacket in the video, so maybe that's where he's going next. Anyway, Doc Gallows with Carl Anderson defeats Frankie Kazarian. Kazarian comes right at him and follows up with a missile dropkick. Comes back with a big boot and establishes an advantage in the match. He whips Kazarian, goes out to the floor. They go to commercial break. Kazarian avoids a couple of shots and then takes Gallows down with a clothesline and hits a back suplex. Springboard leg drop followed up for a near fall. And then does the leg bulldog. Distractions enough for Gallows to hit a right hand and a side slam for the win. Post-match, Anderson attacks the Good Brothers, hits Kazarian with a magic killer. Omega's music plays. He walks down. Callis says he's attacking Kazarian. Was a message. This is what happens when you mess with the Elite. Omega said Kazarian has been a thorn in his side for months. The Elite Hunter has been the Elite Hunted. And then Hangman Page's music hits. He comes out beer in hand. Callis points out that the Elite have to have the 4-on-1 numbers advantage and asks Page if he's stupid or drunk. Page struck but is immediately taken down, and Page hits a buckshot lariat on Anderson. Team Taz video plays. Taz says he's proud of Ricky Starks for winning the FTW Championship. Starks said that he'd have a championship celebration next week. Brian Cage is interviewed, and he says he hopes the celebration works out because he loves celebrations. Darby Allin with Sting defeats Wheeler Yuta, Orange Cassidy. Wheeler Yuta has a major upside here. Yuta targets Allin's midsection, strikes and kicks, and drops him over the ropes. Allin comes back, but Yuta pulls him on the ropes and locks on an octopus hold. Allin escapes. Yuta then hits a German suplex and a bridge for a near fall of a 2. Allin pulled Yuta off the ropes and hits a superplex. Sting and Orange Cassidy face off outside the ring and did some Orange Cassidy related comedy stuff. Yuta tries to take advantage with a cradle, but Allin hits a stunner and a coffin drop for a win. A Blade attacked Orange Cassidy after the match with brass knuckles. They're supposed to wrestle later tonight, but the match is now in jeopardy. A video package airs recapping Jon Moxley and Lance Archer's previous matches. Archer said he'd knock out Moxley. Moxley says one way or another it's over. Britt Baker defeats Nyla Rose, thankfully. This is Baker's first AEW Women's Championship defense. Crowd loves her, but the action was not what it needed to be. She takes Rose to the mat early and targeted attack on her arm. Rose powers out and is rolled up for near fall. She's caught running attack. Baker then hits a press slam followed by a running senton. Rose pitches Baker over the top rope, but Rebel pulled him off of Baker and flattened Rose into turnbuckle. Baker dominates throughout the break, meaning Rose essentially works babyface in the match. Once back in, Rose overpowers Baker and hits a backbreaker for a fallaway slam combination. Baker then avoids a corner cannonball and hits a sling blade, and then gets backslide for near fall. Crowd thought the match was over at this point. It's not. Rebel handed Baker a glove. Rose goes for chokeslam. Baker rolls out of it and goes for 2 count. And Baker tries the lockjaw, but Rose powers out and hits a Death Valley driver. She follows up with a driving leg drop for a near fall. Baker comes back with 2 thrust kicks, and Rose then comes back with a choke slam. Baker hits a crucifix bomb for near fall, and then rolls Rose through for a couple of more curves, what amounts to curve stomps, and then another near fall. Rose nails Baker with a forearm strike, leading to a double down. Rebel then distracts the official, and Baker gets the belt and does the old Eddie Guerrero fake the belt spot. Rose tosses the belt back to Baker before hitting the Beast Bomb for a near fall. Rose then goes for another Beast Bomb. Baker counters and floats over into the lockjaw, forcing Rose to submit. Shivani moderated a press conference between FTR and Santana Ortiz. Harwood is instructed that this is the same. Ortiz said that FTR just is a pit stop on the way to the tag team. Gold, Santana produces photos, childhood and upbringing, and etc. and so forth. Andrade, Death Triangle segments up next. This is really nothing to write home about by any stretch of the imagination. Andrade already feels flat and he's only been here for a little bit. Andrade is brought out by Tony Schiavone. He has surprise for everyone. Executive consultant Chavo Guerrero, that's cool. He says this is the place to be. With all due respect, he doesn't see anybody with as much Italian talent as Andrade. Death Triangle's music hits, they come out. Abrahante's Pac said they heard that Andrade bring them up last week, and they are chanting for the contingent of Rey Fenix and partner. Anyway, Andrade said some words in Spanish. Chavo translates for Pac. Death Triangle is all talented and they should be holding championships. If they want to change that, listen to Andrade. Why do you work for Pac? He wants to know. Why not work for Andrade? And Pac said that Penta and Phoenix don't work for him. The Death Triangle is a family. Phoenix says they're the real faces of the Latinos. Penta then says something that Alex translates. Penta says, why would you want to join a group with you when you're not even in our lives? And then Death Triangle rushes the ring. Andrade tells them to relax, and the referee came out to separate them. It's fine, but I don't think any of the talent in here is over enough that the average fan flipping channels would care. An internet fan might, but the average fan won't. Earlier tonight, the Hardy Family Office had a fight with Jurassic Express, and Christian Cage has their back. They cut to Christian Cage and Jurassic Express backstage. Christian suggests he teamed with Jurassic Express against Angelico and Private Party next week. QT Marshall with Alex Marvez says next week he's going to apologize for dumping a protein shake over the head of Tony Schiavone. Orange Cassidy versus Blade with the Bunny. Orange surprise attack early. Blade flees out to the floor. Orange comes back into the ring. Orange takes Blade down, lands in some strikes. Blade acts like he's injured. They fight on top rope with Blade, hits an insane gut wrench powerbomb on the top turnbuckle, leading to a break. Once they're driving crossbody and a satellite DDT for Orange, gets 2 count. Bunny then tries to get involved. Chris Statlander stops, and Orange won't hit the Blade with a tope, but Blade pulls Statlander in the way, and then Orange pushes the Blade into the Bunny. Back in the ring, Blade catches a satellite DDT and drops Orange over the top rope. Running lariat and spinning tombstone piledriver follows for near fall. Blade goes for the Doctor Bomb, but Orange fights out and hits a beach break for a near fall. Bunny distracts the official and tosses Brass Knucks to the Blade, but Orange avoids the strike and hits the Orange Punch for the win. Post-match, Orange grabs the Brass Knucks and hits another Orange Punch on the Blade. Jericho is asked about next week's no disqualification match against Nick Gage. Jericho said he'd bring the most violent and demented version of himself next week. And he turns around and reveals Painmaker face paint. Next week, no disqualification, Jericho and Gage, FTR and Santana Ortiz, Christian Cage, Jurassic Express, Private Party, and Angelico, IWGP winner of Moxley Archer versus Hideko, and elimination tag match, Elite, Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, and Good Brothers versus Page, Dark Order, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds. Tony Khan will announce a major new live event in 2 weeks. Homecoming, Mikel Black and Cody Rhodes has been announced. A video package hyping Rhodes and Black is played up next, and then we go to our main event. Hardcore match and a hometown winner and the disqualification, last man standing. Moxley goes right after Archer before the bell, grabs a kendo stick, whacks Archer with it. Archer basically ignores the shots. They trade forearms in the middle of the ring. Archer cuts Moxley off with a pounce, followed by a cannonball, and Moxley sends Archer through the barricade and a running shoulder tackle. Then they fight in the stands and the crowd. Moxley leaps off a structure and strikes Archer, but Archer shrugs it off and used a planted fan as a weapon on Moxley. Back in the ring, Archer cuts off the tope with a forearm before exposing the concrete floor. Moxley then fights out of the hold and goes after Archer on the floor with a paradigm shift. Archer is then busted open. Moxley produces a fork and stabs Archer in the face. During the break, Moxley sets up a table on the outside. Moxley wraps a chair around Archer's leg and lands a diving stomp. Moxley tries following up with a trash can shot. Archer punches through it and punches right into Moxley's face. They trade right hands. Moxley bites Archer's face, but then Archer fires up and goes for the lariat. Moxley hits a release German. Archer hits a big boot and a ripcord. Black hole slam. Archer sets up chairs, goes for the blackout. Moxley fights out, and then there's a pop-up chokeslam on Moxley through the chair. Moxley then makes it up to an 8 count and hits a running attack with a lariat, followed by a paradigm shift. Archer then pops up at 4 and flips off Moxley. Moxley stabs at Archer's head with a fork, and he produces barbed wire boards and popped them up on the tables outside the ring. Moxley then goes for paradigm shift through the boards and table, which is how he originally wins the title. Archer then fights out using a fork and chokeslams Moxley through the table. Moxley couldn't make it up at 10 count. Archer wins the championship for the second time. Post-match, Archer and Hideko face off. Hideko dwarfs Archer, which is kind of amazing, and ultimately this is a overall good version of Dynamite. We'll be back with more right after this.